If there's one thing I love about playing role-playing games, it's the width and breadth of expression that you get in the genre. And in fact, one of my favorite things about that width and breadth is that the more places you play and the more game masters you get to know, the more you realize there are some genuinely amazing house rules. Hello everybody, welcome back to Desks and Dorks. A couple things. I am Kyle. I'm the Dork. Thanks for being here. If you'd like to like, share, comment, subscribe if you feel like we've earned those things from you, they are greatly appreciated. A couple quick things. Again, if you really want to help us support us, keep the lights on. The links to purchase physical copies of our games from any of our distributors or from digital copies of our games from itch.io. Again, greatly appreciated. And if you want to participate in shaping the future of the channel, we have a poll right now talking about what kind of content you'd like to see from us, or you can always hop into the Discord and talk to us directly. Now, let's talk about house rules. This first house rule comes courtesy of my younger brother Colin. This is called the spell rule. What are you going to use this for you when you have low prep, low equipment style of RPGs? And by low equipment, I don't mean the equipment in game, I mean the equipment out of game. What happens if you have friends that want to play a role-playing game, but you have no books, only one dice, you have very few things in the ways of pencils or character sheets? What happens if you want to recreate the experience of playing a role-playing game for your friends in an environment where you don't have a lot of time or resources? For example, if you're working a job and you want to play this in between customers coming in. Well, my brother was working in an environment like that not too long ago, and he came up with a really great solution for one of the people at his work who wanted to play a spellcaster. Again, they didn't have access to anything more than a single dice, little scraps of time, and no manuals. So what do you do if you want to get somebody interested in and ingratiated in the wonders of magic? Well, you literally just let them cast whatever the heck they want. This system works beautifully. Essentially what happens is the spellcaster says, I would like to shape magic to do X. This can be as simple as blasting a door off its hinges, or stealing a pouch from somebody, or attempting to lift the latch on a locked gate, to I would like to sizzle the eyeballs of the goblin warlord in its skull from 400 feet away. I want to conjure up a giant magic frog. Anything is the limit, right? However, you still need to roll for it. I love this system, right? Magic is an incredibly fickle, powerful, and ultimately intriguing thing, and something that every single role-playing game, and I'm going to just say it right now, every role-playing game that has magic fails to capture is the idea that with magic, anything and everything can be possible at a cost, at a price, and at a risk. I love this system because it essentially says, hey, you're going to try to cast a spell. If you roll really well, you're going to get what you asked for, or really close to it within reason. If you do okay on a spell, you'll get something similar to what you asked for, and you're going to pay a pretty steep price for it. And if you do horribly, you are going to suffer horrific consequences. In my mind, this does two things really well. One, this immediately connects the player's imagination to the experience of playing the game, right? It is really disheartening for new players of any system to want to play Magic, and they think of the infinite possibilities that Magic provides, and then they are met with tables and sheets and spell lists. I'll be honest, it kind of sucks. This system I think is absolutely brilliant, and I absolutely will be employing it in the future, probably telling my spellcasters that if something does happen and they roll really, really, really poorly, instead of melting someone else's eyes out of their skull, they'll melt their own. But I really love this high risk, high reward, focus on imagination style of spell play. This is not a house rule that works for everybody. It is a house rule that I think is genuinely brilliant, and I absolutely love it. So, what else? I like group initiative. If you're somebody like me and you like running low fantasy games or military fantasy games, chances are you have run into the problem of logistics, which is actually pretty on brand for a military game, because logistics wins wars. Yay, history degree. So, a couple things to keep in mind. A lot of times, when I was a beginning GM, I would roll up initiative or turn order, whatever system you'd like to use, whether you're playing something like the Dragon Age role-playing game, that has initiative. Shadow the Demon Lord, something similar. Dungeons & Dragons definitely has initiative. So, if you have initiative, turn order, anything like that, you want to use this system. As I was saying, when I was a beginning GM, a baby GM, what I would do is, let's assume that I had a big old block of swordsmen that were fighting in this battle. I would roll initiative for each individual swordsman, and that sucked. It took forever to run the combat. Players weren't sure who they were interacting with, especially when combat happened. People would die, people would get unalived, and I would have to continually shuffle things around. It was confusing as to who was unalived and who wasn't, and so eventually I just developed a really simple system. Groups or creatures of the same unit type all act on the same initiative. So for example, if you have knights, pikemen, longbowmen all fighting the players, each player has their own unique initiative, but every unit of warriors of that specific type uses the same block of initiative. So if you roll a 16 for a swordsman, all the swordsmen go on 16. If you roll a 5 for the longbowmen, all the longbowmen go on 5. Again, players have their own individual initiatives, but the units do not. This fixes a ton of problems. A, it's a lot less legwork for you. B, it makes combat much less confusing when people decide to go down or get, creatively removed from existence by blunt force trauma. And C, it allows the players to comprehensively and cohesively plan a strategy, knowing that all of the guys are going to work together. Also, it's not really a huge disconnect, I don't think, from a realism or a sense of suspended disbelief. It's not uncommon that military units would act as one organism and act in concert and in tandem with one another. So if you know me, you know I love it when a rule makes sense both thematically and helps me out in terms of gameplay. If you find yourself using large groups of characters in whatever system that has a turn order in it, because remember, we don't just do D&D around here, this is for any indie role-playing game that has a turn order, this is going to help you out immensely, and I would drastically consider using this system. Also, a bonus initiative one. This is not a bonus rule or a house rule that I have used, but I was trolling one of the subreddits the other day, and this actually came up, and it was way too interesting for me not to include it in this video. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. So essentially it just is whatever system you're playing, whoever has the highest initiative gets to see the whole turn order first and then inject themselves somewhere in the turn order. I just think that's really interesting as a conceit. I think it opens up a lot of possibilities for strategic playing. If you know me, you know that I think combat is a puzzle. I think this offers a unique way to solve that puzzle for certain characters, and it rewards characters who focus on the initiative and the turn order, which is traditionally, if you played other role-playing game systems, again, I cut my teeth playing 3.5, you'll know that sometimes at a certain point, initiative just stopped mattering because characters were either, oh, I'm going to die instantly, or, oh, I'm literally unkillable. Who cares who goes first? I really like this because it gives you an additional reason to buy into the idea of a turn order, regardless of what system you're there, or system you're playing in, I should say. So again, your mileage may vary on this one, but I really liked it. I thought this was super neat, and it might be worth giving a try too. It's why it's a bonus in our video. And last but certainly not least, I love 3 rumors and 1 truth when I am doing character creation. It is a mandatory part of character creation for a lot of the role-playing games that I run, looking squarely at you, Dread. When I am making a game where I want the players to start questioning one another, where I want to immediately start encouraging a greater depth of role-playing and having a player-to-player interest in each other's backstories, this is one of the things that I absolutely love to do. It is so simple. All you do, give your players an index card, have them write literally just 3 things on it. 2 of those things are horrible, ghastly rumors. 1 of those things is the outright truth. What this does is you make all of these things available to all of the players at the table. So out of game knowledge, every player knows everybody's rumors and truth, but nobody knows which one is which. That is not player knowledge. That is not character knowledge. The only person that knows that is you as the GM and the player who wrote it. That's the first thing you should do. Why do you do this? Because immediately it gets people thinking about other people's characters, which you'll know if you've played role-playing games. One of the best things that you can do is the second other people start caring more about the stories of their fellow players, you are in for a good time, because what they're going to do is they're going to take risks. They're going to allow for other people to take center stage, and they're going to push each other to tell the kinds of stories that are really meaningful and that make the genre worth playing. 2, it really helps newer players who might struggle a little bit with role-playing by giving them basically hooks on which to base their character. They don't have to go through like a long list of backgrounds. I hate the background system. I think it's weird. I mean, it's fine. It's just, it's too much. It's too cumbersome. You need something a little simpler like this. And lastly, if you really want to make it interesting, so again, the players have knowledge of the truths and the rumors, the characters do not. Let's say if you're playing with a group of 4 players, each character at the table knows one of the 3 things about the other person, but again, they don't know the truth of that thing. I have been thinking long and hard about actually making a Darkest Dungeon style of role-playing game that leans heavily into the dark psychological aspects of dungeon crawling. This is going to be part of that system. It's also a house rule that I use pretty much anytime that I'm playing a horror or investigation-based role-playing game. Again, I think this is perfect for Dread, for Cult, for Call of Cthulhu, for Vaesen, maybe even for Symbaroum if you like those systems. I think this is a wonderful way to do it. And again, you will be shocked at the amount of player buy-in and player interest that you get from a single 3x5 index card. With that, folks, that is the end of our video today. Thank you again so much for everybody that has watched. A sincere thank you to everybody that blew up our gold video. That has been the best performing video on the channel in like a hot minute since I talked about making monsters like Dark Souls. That's like I think it actually might be the most commented on video in the history of Desks and Dorks. We have like something like 250 comments. Anyway, I'm yapping, and I'm only yapping because I am incredibly grateful for it. I really do appreciate everybody who liked and shared and commented, and heck, even if you disliked it, I mean, you're still interacting with it. And as somebody who, I mean, what, like 4 months ago, we had like 500 subscribers, if that. We're swiftly approaching 2K. It's weird. It's a weird feeling for me. Anyway, I'm just, long story short, I just wanted to say I'm really grateful. Thank you all so much again for the support. It really does mean an absolute, like, world to me. So, in any case, I'm Kyle out for Desks and Dorks. Do all the YouTube stuff. We already talked about that at the beginning. Again, check the games out if you feel like we've earned your subscription, or you like what we do here and you want to give us support. Like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys know how it works at this point. But anyway, in any case, I'm Kyle out for Desks and Dorks. You guys have been great. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.